Aloha! I had the good fortune to visit Hawaii last week with my wife Azusa and Chico is around here somewhere. Oh, right here. And Susan, I don't know if she's here today or not. And it was just such an amazing experience. Of course, Hawaii is beautiful. Elsa and I had been there one time before on vacation to the Big Island, but this time we were on Oahu, and we got to goof off for a few days, and then to take part in a conference, which is a conference of Soto Zen temples in North America and in Hawaii. And they've been having this conference for since 1988, I believe was the first one. Does that sound right? 1988, and it was originally started to bring together the communities of North America and Hawaii, mostly Japanese immigrant communities, and then over the years, particularly the past couple conferences, there's been an emphasis on trying to bring together communities of Soto Zen Buddhists that are not part of the Japanese American kind of fold. And so it was really a great mix of people. It's a big crew from Italy as well, because the teacher there at the main temple is a Taiko master, and he teaches Taiko to one of these temples in Italy called Fudenji. Part of the reason I bring that up this morning is just because it was great, and I haven't seen you all for a little while, and so I just wanted to mention that. But on a deeper level, I was so struck by the incredible generosity of all of the places, all the temples and the temple communities that we visited. And the O-SEGAKI, or offerings for the hungry ghost, that we're making today is really a deep and profound teaching about the transformational power of generosity. I was thinking so much when I was there and hearing the story of these communities, which were founded in the late 1800s, early 1900s, most of them, that those immigrant communities had very hard lives. Most of them had come to work on sugar plantations, and their working conditions were really difficult, and the living conditions were really difficult. We had a chance to tour a kind of museum of one of the plantations that they've preserved as a museum, and you can see how people live. Most of the, or all of the sugar production's now gone, but you can see how those immigrant communities had lived, and that right there in the center of these sugar plantations, they built temples. And those temples now have survived today, and you can really feel when you're there the deep care that people have for each other, for the mutual life that they care for together. I think that this oftentimes comes from hardship, that the hardship of plantation life, the hardships of internment, gave rise to this really deep resilience in the people there. And you can feel that that resilience comes from generous spirits that were forged through that kind of hardship. And it got me to reflecting on the real difficulty of generosity amongst the kind of abundance that most of us experience in our lives today. I'm not saying that there's no hardship. There is hardship, but the kind of collective hardship of something like plantation life is not what most of us are experiencing. Most of us have a kind of abundance which allows at least an illusion of self-sufficiency. We kind of think, I can do it. I have some extra time, or we'll hide in my room with my computer or the TV and, I don't know, some nachos or something. And we're kind of, that's where we're getting our, that's where we're kind of letting the grief and difficulty down into an isolated place, which can only happen when you have this kind of incredible abundance. When you're in this other kind of hardship, you don't have that luxury, right? Which is actually an advantage, although it doesn't always appear as an advantage. that this kind of self-sufficient mind makes the practice of generosity more difficult, even if in a practical sense we're being generous. But the generosity of spirit, usually we have to be cracked open. We don't willingly go. So every year when we come to this practice of O-SEGAKI, my basic thing I want to say is double down on generosity. Just double down. Go all in. Heck with the double down. Go all in. Right? Just put it all in. Because that's the only way to really overcome the kind of narrow holding that our heart gives over to so easily. And that's what the story at the base of Segaki is about. Segaki started at the time of the Buddha Shakyamuni in India some 2,500 years ago. And it arose when one of the Buddha's closest students, named Ananda, who was also his attendant, was deep in meditation one night during a rains retreat, and he was visited by this curious and scary being named Enku. Enku means blazing mouth. And Enku is the king of the hungry ghosts. In a South Asian religious understanding, there are many different realms of existence. This isn't only Buddhism, but just South Asian originally, and then now through really all of Asia. This understanding that in these different layers of existence, beings are living in different ways. One of those layers is the layer of humans, where we all, at least for part of the time, hang out. But the other layers are the layers of the divine beings who live in an ultimate kind of satisfaction and pleasure. Interestingly enough, that's not the best place to be born. Right? The reason it's not the best place is because you forget about suffering. And when you forget about suffering, you can't transform the central issue. And then you also can't hang out there forever. So probably a good place to be for a while, but ultimately it's not the place where Buddhas can be awakened. That's the kind of understanding. Then there's the realm of the Titans, or the angry gods. They're the ones who have fallen out of the divine realm, and they're upset about it, right? Which you could understand. I think we may be experiencing a bit of that in North America over this next period. And so those are all considered to be relatively positive realms. The negative realms, the three negative realms, one is the realm of animals, and that's seen as being negative not because animals are bad, but because animals are driven primarily by instinct, and so they can't get out of the loops of karma that they're in. The worst is the hell realms, where the karma that's accumulated just ends up in a really deep, deep suffering, with lots of colorful sort of examples of what that suffering could feel like. But then the sixth one is the realm of the hungry ghosts. It's a very important realm. It's the closest realm to the humans. The human realm is sandwiched between the hungry ghosts and the divine realm. And the hungry ghosts are beings that are completely afflicted by greed. And because they can only understand satisfaction in this narrow and tight way, whatever they grab onto to try to nourish themselves turns into pus or blood or fire as they turn it into their mouth, as they put it into their mouth. And it can never reach their bellies. And so they're never nourished. So Enku, who visits Ananda, he's the king of all of these beings. There's millions and millions and millions of them. And he comes to Ananda, who is like second to the Buddha, and he says, Ananda, in 3 days, you will lose your life and fall into our realm. And Ananda's, I assume, surprised. And he says, why? And he says, it's your karma. Enku doesn't explain it. He just says this is karma. And then Ananda says, well, what can I do about it? And Enku says, there's nothing you can do about it. This is the turning of the wheel of your karma, and this is what will happen. So Ananda asks again, he said, isn't there some way I could overcome this? And Enku says, yes, but it's impossible. To overcome this, you would have to feed all of us. This is a really important part of the story. To get free of the karma, he says you would have to feed every mouth in the realm of the hungry ghost, which is like this endless horde of beings who haven't known satisfaction at all. And Enku disappears. And so the next day, Ananda goes to the Buddha and he recounts the story. And he says, I fear that this is my fate, that I will fall into the realm of the hungry ghosts. And the Buddha says, don't fear, Ananda. There is a way. There is a way that you can make an offering which is not limited by that narrow mindset of greed. And if you do that, if you make that offering, it breaks the spell. And then he teaches him this method, which has been enacted for the past 2,500 years, which we will enact today, about how to make that offering. He says that he learned that method while he himself, the Buddha Shakyamuni, was residing in the heaven of complete contentment, where Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, also resides. So the Bodhisattva of compassion that's on this side of the altar, our Buddha's in the middle, and Avalokitesvara here with all of the arms on the right-hand side. This Bodhisattva is the Bodhisattva that will touch all suffering. And the Buddha says that's where he learned the method. It's interesting. We think of the Buddha as being the highest, but that's not quite right. Actually, the Buddha is the wisest, knows how to learn, and knows how to learn from this Bodhisattva, and knows how to learn from Enku. He knows how to learn from the greed. He knows how to learn from the hungry ghosts. And that's why he can connect the two. He can connect Ananda both with his heart of greed and with his heart of generosity. And that's how things can be really turned over. The practice of generosity is not an attack on desire. We are such black and white thinkers. We think that way right away. We think if I'm going to be generous, it means I have to squish desire. And the Buddha Dharma tells us that desire gets us into big trouble. Clinging gets us into big trouble. But actually, the teaching is not to attack desire or to attack clinging. It's to do something with that. To do something with the desire. To do something with the clinging. Rather than just enact it in the narrow way that the hungry ghosts, that's all they know how to do. That we should enact it through generosity. When you have something that's very tasty, food is a good thing, just like very simple dynamic. When you have something very tasty, do you keep it all for yourself? Or do you share it with others? It's not so complicated. That's what I loved about going to these temples in Hawaii. You could tell that it was the generosity of spirit was manifest through food. And people were so excited. Oh, I made this mochi, I made this, I made that. Oh, and please try it, please try it, please try it. Right? Well, that comes from hardship, where food wasn't just, rolling off the shelves. And when you tasted it and you knew that it was delicious, you wanted to put it into someone else's mouth as well. Isn't that a natural urge? I think it is. So this is the thing that the Buddha is trying to teach Ananda. Look, it's not about being perfect, Ananda. You could imagine being the attendant to the Buddha for 30 years. That would be hard. You would have a big perfection complex. Right? Yeah, definitely. And in that perfection complex, you would think like, oh no, I have to squish my desire. And only give. Generosity is only about giving, but not recognizing the passion of your own heart or the clinging or the desire means that you can't really become deeply generous. Generosity is not the destruction of desire or clinging. In the Diamond Sutra, as we've been studying it these past couple months, the Buddha says to make an offering while not abiding in any notion. He says we should make an offering without without thinking about who I'm giving it to, even what's being given. I can think about it, but I shouldn't make that the important thing. I shouldn't be expecting some kind of gratitude or response or anything. I should just give it from the pureness of my own recognition of my own desire. That of course I would want others to also be fulfilled. In that way, desire is enacted in a different way rather than just clinging on to for ourselves. And that's something we do over and over again. In the Buddhism, there's no final days. There's no time when it all becomes like perfect. It's already perfect. In Buddhism, we say that the practice is already the perfection of it. So we're not waiting for all of these problems to be solved. We're actually enacting the solution to the problem immediately. That's the kind of teaching. The Buddha simply illuminates right now. And the Buddha's illumination is your activity. It's not some disembodied light. It is the light of your body. This is the message of the head of our school heading into 2026, which will also be a commemorative, we're headed towards a commemorative year of Ejo Zenji, not me, but the monk who took over from Dogen Zenji, the founder of our school in Japan. And as we're headed into a commemorative years, which will be in 3 or 4 years, the message that's being emphasized by the Abbott of Sojiji, who's the head of our school right now, the main monastery, is light, illumination. But not illumination as something disembodied, but illumination as the generosity and gratitude for the way it is that we take care of each other. It's important for us to move from that. We're all, kind of spiritual seeker types, right? So, light. Light. Giving and receiving. So the last thing I'll say is that in this ritual, which the head monk, Jakuen, will explain a bit before we actually start, the first part is this enactment of offerings. The second part is recitations in which we dedicate the merit of those recitations for people who have passed away over the last year. And in that part of the ceremony, I'll read the names of everyone that we have read names for over the past year. We read people's names for 49 days after they pass away, for anyone who's requested for that to happen. And there's a special card that's made, and part of the daily chanting services, their name is read in. But I want to call your attention to a couple of the names which will show up today. The first name you'll hear is Getchen Brox, who was a marvelous example of this practice of generosity in starting the first, or not the first, but the seed that eventually became Buddha Ai Temple. She offered her home and her wisdom and her kindness for people to gather on a regular basis to sit meditation, and for her teacher, Kyogen Carlson Roshi, to come down and give teachings here in Eugene. And she did that for many years, and as I look out over, I can see a number of faces of people who practiced with her at that time. When I and my family were returning from Japan in the late 90s, I wrote a letter to Getchen from the monastery where I was training and said, I'm planning on coming to Eugene. And there was no email really at that time, a little bit, but was kind of only for tech geeky people or something, I guess. So I sent a paper letter, and then she wrote me back. So when we arrived back in Eugene, right away I was able to go to her house. And this temple wouldn't be here if she didn't have that heart of generosity. to not just do the practice for herself and drive to Portland all the time, but to receive people. And for me personally, to be received in that way and to be able to practice together with her helped give me the courage to go the next step and the next step. And the people gathered around that could support that process of going the next step and the next step to arrive at what we have now. So that's one of the names you'll hear. Another name you'll hear is Tenkan O'Hare. And as much as I feel like it was, Tenkan was ready to go, he was a pillar of this community right from the get-go. And he was so stubborn, but that was also his generosity. He wasn't trying to hide, out somewhere. He just came forward with his real question, even if it was the same question over and over again. And he was a real exemplary person of the way, in that he never stopped that. He was a Sangha elder, was a teacher in his own right. He had done huge amount of work to establish the refuge recovery group that meets here at the temple, helps working with people with addiction. He was sober for, I think he had his 50-year coin, and he went to meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. That kind of generosity of spirit that brought us today. And the many other names, every name has its story, but those two I wanted to point out. Because when I think of them, and I think of these temples that we had the good fortune, these temple communities we had the good fortune to visit in Hawaii, I feel like we're on the road. 20 years? Give us another 80. And my aspiration is that we'll have that same quality in the way that we are here at this temple.
Morning. So I have a few instructions on how we'll enact the ceremony today and how you can participate. You'll notice that sort of in the center of the hall are these folks who are sitting in red cushions, and that's referred to as the ryoban. And you'll notice that these 8 individuals will be doing a lot of various choreography. Please don't try and mimic what they're doing in here. There will be places, though, that your participation is strongly encouraged. So if you have a chant book, please chant along with the various chanting. The first thing you'll see happen pretty soon here, we'll take a short break and we'll do some final preparations. After the preparations happen, we'll have a procession, and please stand as you would normally stand for a procession. We'll do some prostrations, chant the Makahanya Harimita Shingyo, do some more prostrations. After that, you'll notice the first kind of big change in the center of the hall. After that, you can sort of continue chanting, but don't try and mimic the various standing and bowing that's happening in the center here. We have Genjo here. Genjo, would you raise your hand? And Daren as well over here. There'll be a point towards the end of the ceremony where you'll be invited row by row to go outside to the O-SEGAKI altar to make incense offerings. And so those two will sort of have you stand up and guide you through that process. So please watch for them as they make that gesture. One of our practices that we have done year after year for Segaki, and another way you can participate, we have these slips of paper and pencils that the greeters will start handing out in a moment. And on that paper, we encourage you to reflect on your life this year, or the life in your family, or community, or in the larger world, to feel for something which you feel has sort of needed nourishment and maybe has not received nourishment. And we leave that to you to name and to think about as something that we're going to place physically on the Segaki altar, but also that we're placing it in the altar of our heart as well, to bring forward this, that which has not been nourished in ourselves or in our families or in the community this year. After I'm done speaking, if the greeters would hand out those papers, we'll take a moment, you can contemplate a bit, write it down, and then we'll immediately bring those to the altar. And the intention is sort of to put this paper, to really fill the altar with these slips of paper. So don't worry try and tuck it in wherever it will go, and that will be sort of receiving the merit and the effects of our ceremony today. At the very, very end of the ceremony, please stay with us and enjoy a lunch that has been beautifully prepared by Yuton, Kishin, and Onshi. And so we'll have lunch together. We'll have a little fire pit, and we'll have time to be together. Anything out? Okay, so in a moment here, the greeters will hand out those papers, we'll open up the doors, you'll see some final preparations for their ceremony, and then the procession will begin. Thank you. And once you finish writing, you can go right up to the altar to place.
Thank you.
He's sure Minnie's right on her word. Oh. There you go.
some stuff to
You actually don't have to stand quite yet. Stretch your legs.
To the countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that permeate the myriad worlds, to the eternal three jewels in the 10 directions, that we may repay their compassionate blessings, we further offer this merit to all the Dharma protecting devas, to the Dharma protecting saints, to the earth spirit of this place, to the temple protecting spirits. May we with all beings realize the Buddha way.
Today, at this mountain gate, a noble assembly has gathered. We make pure offerings for the sake of all hungry ghosts, spirits, honored ones, bodhisattva, mahasattvas, and Buddhas. Because all hearts are sacred and luminous, the true offering fills the cosmos. Shunning becomes a demon, among but hidden from view, passionate flames, essence as blood, putrefaction of pus. Buddhas don't destroy any world, can and indeed must be the ground of the great way, befriending the mouth of fire. Gifts are clear and truly gifts. Grasping teaches the opening of this hand.
Buddha, homage to Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, of great love and great compassion, reliever of suffering, homage to the Venerable Ananda, reciter of the teachings, homage to the Buddhas of the 10 directions, homage to the Dharma of the 10 directions, homage to the Sangha of the 10 directions, homage to the original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, homage to Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, of great love and great compassion, reliever of suffering, homage to the Venerable Ananda, reciter of the teachings. By all the members of this assembly, are celebrating, we offer this gift of pure food to you, Holy Ghost, from every corner of the Dharma realm, from every country and land without number. You departed long ago, gathered here, come all you spirits from earth gods, of mountains and rivers, to demons embrace of the barren waste. Accept this food given in love and compassion. We pray that each of you in turn offers this gift to all Buddhas, all holy ones, and sentient beings throughout space and time. May all be equally satisfied. May your bodies nourished by this Dharanic food gain liberation and leave suffering behind. May you attain the joy of celestial birth. May you be delivered to one of the pure lands. May your heart be set on awakening, and may you practice the path of liberation. May you never stray from the path, but instead become Buddhas. On attaining the way, may you vow to liberate all others, and may you day and night without cease protect us, answering our prayers in full. We dedicate the merit of this gift of food to all sentient beings of the Dharma realm. May all beings live in harmony and together with us. May all dedicate these blessings to the pure spirit of suchness, to supreme all-knowing awakening. Together with all sentient beings, may we certainly become Buddhas, and may we seek no further reward. With these words and rites to guide us, may all sentient beings swiftly become Buddhas. Yata magu soro baya tata yata 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 om soro soro hara soro sowagano magu soro baya tata yata 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 om soro soro hara soro sowagano magu soro baya tata yata 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 om soro soro hara soro sowagano magu samman labotanan balo 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 nyorai no bhagavate malabuddha tando yatata yata yato yendo duguji malogyo sikishi nyorai no bhagavate solomaya tata yata yata shirogyo hemman sogyo narugamro nyorai no bhagavate amini Sammaya Sattvam.
Om Sammaya Sattvam.
Om Sammaya Sattvam. Om Akusaravataya Tatam Viyoragarabe Mani Arabe Tatatani Tashani Mani Mani Soharabe Vimare Shakyara Genvire Undun Jimbara Jimbara Bola Virogite Yunyashishu Dagyarabe Sohara Om Mani Vajite Om Mani Dare Rata Om Akusaravatata Yatatam Om Viyoragarabe Mani Arabe Tatatani Tashani Mani Mani Soharabe Vimare Shakyara Genvire Undun Jimbara Jimbara Bola Virogite Yunyashishu Dagyarabe Sohara Om Mani Vajite Om Mani Dare Rata Om Akusaravatata Yatatam Om Viyoragarabe Mani Arabe Tatatani Tashani Mani Mani Soharabe Vimare Shakyara Genvire Undun Jimbara Jimbara Bola Virogite Yunyashishu Dagyarabe Sohara Om Mani Vajite Om Mani Dare Rata Om Navogyave Roshano Magabora Mani Ando Majimbara Maritaya 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 Om Navogyave Roshano Magabora Mani Ando Majimbara Maritaya. With the good karma gathered in this practice, we repay the virtuous souls of our fathers and mothers, that the living may be blessed with joy and long life without distress, and the deceased free from suffering and born in the pure land. May the four benefactors, sentient beings in the three classes of existence, and those born in the three evil destinies and eight difficulties, all be able to repent their transgressions, purify their defects, entirely escape the round of rebirth, and be born in the pure land. May His merit extend universally to all, so that we together with all beings realize the Buddha way.
whether a lay person or monk, whether a deva or a human, whether
suffering or at ease, we should quickly form the intention of first saving others before saving ourselves. Though of humble appearance, one who has formed this intention is already the teacher of all living beings. Even a girl of 7 is a teacher to the fourfold assembly, a compassionate father to living beings. Do not make an issue of male and female. This is the most wondrous principle of the way of the Buddha. After arousing the thought of enlightenment, even though we cycle through the 6 destinies and 4 modes of birth, the circumstances of this cycling themselves are all the practice of the vow of enlightenment. Therefore, although until now we may have vainly idled away our time, we should quickly make the vow before the present life has passed. Even if we have acquired a full measure of merit, sufficient to become a Buddha, we turn it over, dedicating it to living beings that they may become Buddhas and attain the way. There are some who practice for countless kalpas, saving living beings first without themselves becoming Buddhas. They only save beings and benefit beings. There are 4 kinds of wisdom that benefit living beings: giving, kind speech, beneficial deeds, and cooperation. These are the practices of the vow of the Bodhisattva. Giving means not to covet. In principle, although nothing is truly one's own, this does not prevent us from giving. Do not disdain even a small offering. Its giving will surely bear fruit. Therefore, we should give even a line or a verse of the Dharma, sowing good seeds for this life and other lives. We should give even a penny or a single blade of grass of resources, establishing good roots for this world and other worlds. The Dharma is a resource, and resources are the Dharma. Without coveting reward or thanks from others, we simply share our strength with them. Providing ferries and building bridges are also the perfection of giving. Earning a living and producing goods are fundamentally nothing other than giving. Kind speech means when meeting living beings to think kindly of them and offer them affectionate words. To speak with a feeling of tenderness towards living beings as if they were one's own infant is what is meant by kind speech. We should praise the virtuous and pity the virtuous. Kind speech is fundamental to mollifying one's enemies and fostering harmony among one's friends. Hearing kind speech to one's face brightens one's countenance and pleases one's heart. Hearing kind speech indirectly leaves a deep impression. We should realize that kind speech has the power to move the heavens. Beneficial deeds means to devise good ways of benefiting living beings, whether noble or humble. Those who encountered the trapped tortoise and the injured bird simply performed beneficial deeds for them, without seeking their reward or thanks. The foolish believe that their own interests will suffer if they put the benefits of others first. This is not the case. Beneficial deeds are one, universally benefiting self and others. Cooperation means not to differentiate, to make no distinction between self and others. It is, for example, like the human Tathagata, who was the same as other human beings. There is a way of understanding such that we identify others with ourselves and then identify ourselves with others. At such times, self and others are without boundaries. The ocean does not reject any water. This is cooperation. It is because of this that water collects and becomes an ocean. In sum, we should calmly reflect on the fact that the practice of the vow of arousing the thought of enlightenment has such principles. We should not be too hasty here. In working to save others, we should venerate and respect the merit that allows all living beings to receive guidance. Yo
Butsu,
With reverence to the triple treasure, we humbly receive the mirror's illumination. Having made offerings of incense, light, flowers, food, tea, and having recited the meaning of practice and verification, making the vow to benefit beings and the Enmei Jiku Kanongyo, we dedicate the merit to
Zen teacher Getsushin Brox, Sangha elder Tenkan O'Hare, great teacher Kushiki Senaki, great teacher Yozen Schneider, Zen teacher Jikyo Ofer, Pope Francis, Heejin Kim, Joanne Macy, Mark Murphy, Alex Maybe, Bob McCleary, John Edwards, Steve Jones, Maggie Smith, Cindy Corzine, Jackie Zaire, Siva McMullen, Keiko Koyana, Amy Sampson, Steve Grub, Phil Lesh, Manuela Heron, Kenny Farmwald, Willie Lee, Melinda King, David Lacrosse, Pandit Ramnariam, David Henry Frog Miller, Norman James Smith, Mary Lou Evans, Kenneth Burgett, Annie Clark, Laura Holt, Steve Cannon, Will Enslin, Dominique Lemieux, Kazuhiro Fujimoto, Marsha Kenner, Starro Summer, David Greenlee, Roxy Boyles, Shui Ling Jiao, John Waller, Marshall Shires, Shizuko Honda, Tony Smith, Darian Paganelli, Anita Johnson, Ustad Zakir Hussein, Jerry Nicholson, Don Creek, Michael Farmer, Joyce Kornblatt, Michael McMullen, Jimmy Carter, David Mitchell, Karen Snyder, Candice Yamaya, David Lynch, Kathy Hennessy, Donald Gabriel Turgett, Ava Schwartz, Barry Bream, Christopher, Michael S. Glasser, Ron Boyd, Rod Ledbetter, John Fisher, Selma Pumin, Marshall Peter, Mark Hirema, Sarah Ritter, Johnny Corcoran, Clarence Pulley, Janie Wade, Ronnie Pulley, Rhonda Tusher, Dan Violet, Jackie Buskier, Robert Murtaugh, Clyde Elam, Patrick McAllister, Brian Fitzgerald, Mark Boykin, Eunice Swafford, Charles Dow Thompson, Marvin Crush, Lester Bengal, Clinton Van Antwerp, Michael Gregory Gibbons, Theodore Charles Gibbons, Barbie Jones, Richard Cowley, Nancy Gilmore, Michael Hume, Amy Swan, Beth Cole, Tori Verba, Joseph Ward, Lenora Rudman, Meredith Compton, Billy Pauline, Janet Huffer, Sharon Schumann, Linda Brown, Mikey, Eric Braun, Gohaku, Donald Wilkinson, Jordan Witcher, Robin Flores, Baby William, Ann Perry, Paul Harkin, Sylvie, Ginger Hoover, Teresa Gay, Roof, Kathleen Lovejoy, Jim Nowak, Amy Hesty, Nick Poe, Melissa Hortman, Mark Hortman, Rodney Smith, Gerald Reese, Kay Widmer, Gunn Shostrom, Robert Mon, Jerry Texley, Deborah Northern, Linda Hull, Ethelyn Francis Wright, Register, Thomas Taylor, Ellen Asher, Amy Raven, Martha Braun, Emily Eisenhower, Richard McGrady, Rob Handy, Robert Creel, Hansel Eastland, John Piccolo, Zach Adamson, Timothy Morin, Sharon Wilson, Vince Whitman, Lionel Corbett, Sue Svoboda, Ozzy Osborne, Sue Svoboda, Dean Higashi, David Link, Martin Trapper, Lillian Shea, Myrtle Williamson, Dennis Jeffrey, Joan Wanless, Bill Morris, James Selby, Rue, John Johnson, John Gifford, Leela Potter, Michael Moss, Betty Story, Edward Stahl, Robert Peoples, Barbara Gilkison, Max Brainer, Richard Silsler, James Kilborn, Lucy Virginia Duret, Chris Fitzgerald, Marcelo De Jesus de Mora, Rebecca Barzidlo, Dennis Rittenberry, Graham Green, Jesse Shea, Bryn Devereux, Angela Fuller, Charlie Kirk, Roseanne Roth, Brad Sweet, Michael Jr., and to all spirits of those who have passed from this world, and to all spirits throughout the Dharma realm.
And to all beings throughout the 3 worlds and 6 realms, we pray that the taste of the Dharma may abundantly fill the world, and that all beings may fully sow the seeds of wisdom and enter the Buddha way.
front room. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I believe we'll ring a bell when the food is ready to be served. We'll start a fire going out in the front lawn, so please stay, enjoy. It's rice and lentil and dal is what we're having for lunch. Thank you so much.